All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave, and we are in front of the Floyd Wall. So must be meaning one thing, some more talking about Pink Floyd. Some of you can hit snooze on me for the day. I know who you are, but we are talking about the final record from the band as we know it. The anniversary was yesterday, March 21st, 1983. The name of the album is The Final Cut, which is very ironic. Lots of irony on this record. Well, it's just anyway, not a lot of people know this record, and that's for a reason. But why is this ironic? Well, the name, The Final Cut. Songs, this record basically are songs that did not make it onto the final cut of The Wall movie, soundtrack, record, all those things for the most part. It was the only album without Richard Wright, who was cut from the band, and it's the last record featuring Roger Waters as a vocalist, who cut himself out of the band. So final cut all the way around. This record did go to number 1 in the UK and number 6 in the United States, but it's the lowest selling record in the United States. Roger Waters says you shouldn't base a record on the merits of its sales. It's an interesting album. You have to really be a Roger Waters fan, I think, to listen to this. It does sound a bit like a Roger Waters solo album. It kind of is a very good bridge from The Wall to Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, his debut solo record. It really is. Musically, you got hints of Pink Floyd in there now and again, and a lot of Roger Waters solo stuff. It's an interesting record, like I said, and I do like this record, but it's not going to be something that you sit down and jam out to, I think, in that regard. Remember, now The Wall is about isolation, stardom, but he also underlying themes of war, mentioning his father who died in World War II when he was 4 months old, and he turns himself into a fascist dictator during the drug-induced haze. And this basically, again, was intended to be a soundtrack to the movie with 5 songs that were cut from the movie. And so they were going to put out another record. David Gilmour says, if they weren't going to make it on The Wall, why are we putting this out on a record now? If they were cut, they were cut. They weren't good enough. Why are we putting this out now? And Roger Waters says, okay, what do you have? What have you written? What do you got for us to record? And he was like, I got nothing. I don't have anything. So this is how bad things had gotten with the band, as far as that's concerned. Then what happened is this was originally going to be called Spare Bricks. So much so that they put out a single, and the single said on the front of it, from the soundtrack to Pink Floyd's The Wall as heard on the final cut. The problem is it was When the Tigers Broke Free, which didn't make it onto the final cut. So this was just a mess all the way around. They did add it to the CD in 2004, but anyway, they're working on that piece of it. People are unhappy, and then what happens? Well, Margaret Thatcher and the Falklands War takes place. Roger Waters is not happy about that, and this is the very beginning of his very forward political views, and basically writes a bunch of songs about that. David Gilmour, not happy with the political turnings of the band. This is just further divide for them. He even mentions Maggie Thatcher in this record. So he's basically written a record about World War II soldiers who gave up their lives and fought for a post-war dream that, in his opinion, did not exist because of the policies of the government after that. Not exactly a rock and roll themed big seller, right? But there are some good songs on here you should check out, and I'm going to talk about the songs on there. So we got the 5 songs from the Wall sessions, and we got the When the Tigers Broke Free, which is actually in the movie. The other ones are Your Possible Pass, One of the Few, The Final Cut, and the Fletcher Memorial Home, Fletcher being his father's middle name. And he actually sings that song pretty regularly on his solo tours to this day. You got The Post-War Dream, The Hero's Return, That's a song worth checking out. So there's one for you to check out, The Hero's Return. The Gunner's Dream, Paranoid Eyes, Get Your Filthy Hands Off My Desert, Southampton Dock. And then you got the two songs that were really narrowed down for Song of the Day today. Two of my favorite songs on this record, my two favorite songs on this record. You got Two Suns in the Sunset. Beautiful song, beautiful guitar, a little bit like Mother. Roger Waters sounds like Roger Waters in The Wall on here. I like the guitar, I like the vocals. Two Suns in the Sunset, beautiful song. You got to check that one out. I'll post it below, but that one's worth a listen if you don't know it. And then you got your Song of the Day. And the last ironic thing to happen is your Song of the Day is the only official single released from this record. Even though it didn't chart very high, it was the only single, and it's the only song sung not by Waters, but by David Gilmour. In the end, he gets the only single, Not Now, John, which, when played on the radio, they had to delete the F word. And so instead of F all that in the background singers, you got Stuff All That. So there you go. This nice summary of this whole record. So I do like this record. I'm a fan, obviously. So if you just want to check out two songs on this record, check out the Song of the Day, Not Now, John. That's not Roger Waters singing, that's David Gilmour. And then check out Two Suns in the Sunset. I do love that song as well. That's your job for today. We are talking Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. We got a great week coming up. Stick with me. Looking forward to it. Enjoy some Floyd today, or do whatever it is you're doing. Have a good one, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.